And you write, this really hit me, we tell ourselves that as long as things aren't terrible, we should be satisfied, that wanting more is greedy. I won't make everyone raise their hands, but I know I have felt that way. What made you write that? Was there a moment that you felt that way?
I think a good enough life is something I felt like I always had. Good enough was enough. If you ask for more, aren't you being selfish? I felt like that, quite frankly. I was in my late 40s, and I had dreamt of having children. And I remembered saying, stop thinking about it. It's selfish. You have a great career, great friends, great nieces, great everything. Stop asking for everything. And I kept pushing it down, like, stop asking. And I was walking with one of my dearest friends, Jen Miller, down the street, and she said something like, well, we never wanted kids. And I said, actually, I did. She goes, but you never mentioned it. And I said, I know, I didn't say it because it's too late. Like, it's like me saying I want to be an astronaut tomorrow. Like, it's not happening, so I don't want to say it. And then I realized something. When you speak out the thing you dream about, when you say it, even if you whisper it to yourself in the bathroom mirror, but when you speak it aloud, something happens. So I went home, and Sandra Bullock, weirdly, was on TV talking about how she adopted a baby from New Orleans, Louis. So I was like, how old is Sandra Bullock? I'm like, oh my God, she's my age. So I was like, wait, we're the same age. It's possible. And so all of a sudden, things started happening. I looked on a television screen, and there was a child in a war-torn area who'd lost his parents. And I thought, that kid might need me, and I need him. So everywhere I looked, things were happening. And so I started the adoption process right away. And I was sitting at NBC at my desk, and I got a text from someone from the agency, and she said, if you ever see my name, you call me right away, because it's times of the essence. And I looked at the phone, I saw her name, and I put the phone down, and I grabbed a yellow pad, and I wrote, 11:56 a.m., this is the moment, everything changes. I said, there will be a before and after starting right now. I knew it. I wrote and wrote. I put the pen down, I called her, and she said my two most favorite words in the English language. She said, she's here. I was like, she's here. Oh my God, she's here. So got on a plane shortly after and scooped up Haley, and 2 years later it was Hope. That wasn't greedy. That wasn't asking for more. That was like your ability to love is beyond measure. You have room. There's room for more. And so I thought to myself, if I had thought that, which I had for most of my life, I wouldn't have the two most precious children in the world. One's going into third grade, one's in first. I've got a third grader and a first grader, and I can't believe I get to do it. So I think I put my own limits on me. I don't want to ask for that raise because I already make enough, or they said it's a terrible time. It's always a terrible time. Whenever you want to raise, not now, maybe later, go back home. And you go, okay, well, thank you. And you're like, what happened? But you have to know you're worth something. You're worth being a mother. You're worth the pay that they're giving you and some. You're worth more. And I think it's telling yourself that, because we can all walk around and think, well, a good enough life is not good enough.